The goal of the Clean Stove Initiative is actually to provide access for clean stove to households using biomass in Indonesia. And for this, the government has set up a standard that have to be fulfilled by all the stoves that are eligible to be disseminated.
The Indonesian Clean Stove Initiative has built national capacities for testing the performance of stoves on emissions and efficiency. A fully equipped laboratory was set up at the NGO Yayasan Dian Desa to test candidate stoves to be promoted under the program. Despite the potential positive impacts of clean stoves on biomass users' health and the environment, the sustained use of clean stoves remains low in Indonesia and elsewhere. The question for a social assessment has been, how would improved stoves that perform well in the lab perform under real conditions of use?
After the lab test, there are 7 stoves that have passed the test and eligible to be marketed and disseminated in Indonesia to start with in the pilot program area. We have tested in the lab. That means it's more on the technical dimensions, but now we are going to see more of the social dimensions, and that's why the social assessment test was done. This social assessment is to see how useful the stove is, how desirable the stove is, and also the usability of the stove, and also to see what are the common issues that are happening when the stove are used by the household, especially the women in the households.
Baseline stoves in Indonesia are operated with large logs of a meter or more, while some of the improved stoves require small wood cuts. During the test, women took between 5 to over 25 minutes to saw, chop, and split the wood to meet the clean stove requirements. Ignition of the clean stoves required between 5 to 10 minutes, while some stoves required up to 15 minutes on average. As comparison, the baseline ignites in less than 1 minute. A few clean stoves can also produce large amounts of smoke during ignition if not operated properly. Once ignited, some of the clean stoves were easy to operate. However, some problems were also observed. This add-on, a stove skirt, is problematic in this particular context. The skirt has to be attached tightly to the pot to ensure efficiency. In Indonesia, cooks use more than one pot during a single cooking cycle, and the pots and woks are of different sizes. This would require constant adjustment of the skirt. This is not only inconvenient, but dangerous as well, as the skirt gets hot and has sharp edges. Refueling, if not done correctly, is also problematic in some stoves. On average, during a testing session, novices reignited the stove 10 times after refueling. Some of the stoves were considered attention intensive either because they go out constantly after refueling or because the fire goes out as the log burns. Such stoves would require the cook to be attentive to the fire to avoid it going off. This would prevent them from attending other chores while cooking and was considered inconvenient. Large variations were observed in average cooking times among the different clean cook stoves. Most on average took between 2 to 3 hours for the same cooking tasks, while only one matched the 1.5 hour achieved by the baseline.
The test shows that different stoves may need different strategies in the dissemination or in the marketing to the public. Some stove may need training, some stoves don't, because it's basically easy to be operated or to be used directly by the women's cook in the household. But some would probably need a prior training before it can be really used well by the households.